Welcome to the SOB radio show, where we have fun, interesting guests, and hot topics. Each week, we offer insights into music, fashion, health, fitness, and humor. Do you have the perfect guest for us to interview? I want to know. Drop me a line on our Facebook page at Spunky Old Broad 1 or reach out to me on our website at spunkyoldbroad.com. And now, back to the show.
My guest today is Ann Bennett. Ann's an award-winning graphic designer for Vogue Magazine and a brand profit builder. She's helped many talented entrepreneurs illuminate, translate, and amplify their unique brands so they can stand out and instantly be visible to the folks looking for them right now, so that they can make a big impact and make bank. She helps entrepreneurs build a head-whipping brand identity that positions their influence and explodes their profits to six figures and beyond. Her life's mission is to impact entrepreneurs to win, own, honor, and unleash their rebel voice, to become an outer rock star so they can amplify their brilliance and skyrocket their profits, and get unruly, get rich, and change the world. Welcome, Ann.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Gayle. This is so fun.
Well, I had met Ann a couple of times, and I took her various types. She has these architect types, and turned out I was a disruptor, which is right on point. And of course, I'm disrupting her life today because I'm interviewing her at 6 a.m. where she is. But she's a trooper, so here she is. So, welcome her and enjoy her because you're in for a ride. So let's talk about this, Ann. What does the word impact mean to you?
Well, impact. Everybody wants to make an impact. And what is that exactly? And I think, when I look at it, it's really simple. At the end of my life, I know the last couple of things I'm going to be thinking before I decide to turn it over to the bigger man in the sky is, did I live, did I love, and did I matter? And I think with that, it's the impact doesn't have to be hundreds of thousands of people, but as human beings, we really want to feel like we've contributed to life on the planet, furthering, humanity, doing something that at least affects, our immediate family, or some of us want to affect, like you, Gayle, a lot of people, hundreds of thousands of people globally. And I think it's just an innate characteristic that we have as a human being to want to do an impact, have an impact.
It's true, because one of the things that I was on a mastermind call the other day, and everybody was talking about money, money, money. And I said, I'm not really money oriented, and neither have I ever been. If I've made a lot, it was great. If I made a little, it was okay. But I wanted to impact the people that I was dealing with, that I wanted to know that my time here counted. And I continue to feel that way after all these years. So, impacting people is very, very important. But it also has to do with your next point, which is mindset. I'm a big believer in mindset now more than ever. I'm getting a lot of calls. I have a virtual SOB club on Facebook. It's a club for women 50 plus. And one of the things that came out, and I'm going to address it this week when I'm on my Facebook Live, is they're feeling lonely and they're feeling isolated. And I talked with my son last night, and he said, "Mom, you've never felt that way because you're always so busy." And he said, "You're living a total virtual life now, and it's not that you're not lonely. I mean, this is going to be my 20th week of isolation, but you're just so busy doing everything you do, you don't have time to be lonely. And I live alone except for 2 cats. So tell us about your feeling on where mindset plays in business success."
Oh my goodness. To me, mindset is 90%, 95%. We have the strategies and tactics, and as entrepreneurs, we're pretty much action-oriented people, so we want to run down the road, kicking and screaming or skipping and falling or whatever we do as we're building our businesses. And I think, it's so important to really be able to manage your emotions, understand how your mind works, understand that, a lot of the times your perception is the way that you look at something, right? And that
Tom Peters said perception's reality. Tom Peters said perception's reality, and it really is. And that's one of the things I wanted to ask you from what you just said, about it's an emotion to be managed. How do people manage the emotion of mindset?
Yeah, I think it's such a great question, Gayle, and one that's like super, super deep. But I think, especially in this time that we're going through right now, that you're talking about, the loneliness is amplified because we're not able to touch and be with each other or even have a simple conversation a lot of times with people. And I think, it brings up, it's an inner world right now. And also I believe that your inner world is what, as big as you grow your inner world, you'll grow your outer world. So in that sense, it's a growth and development game the whole time you're on planet Earth, right? But particularly when you're building a business. So whatever is fears and anxieties and beliefs that are not supportive or empowering, if you will, are going to come up when you're building a business. It's just how it is. So you start to be able to make friends with your fear instead of trying to push it away. Make friends with the loneliness. Like, oh, hi, old friend. Here you are. Instead of trying to push it away. I think, like yourself, I do the same thing. The going gets tough and Ann Bennett goes working, because it gives me a way to move away and be present from all the thoughts and feelings and the big soup of stuff that's going on out there. I think the biggest way, there's so many different ways to do it. Lots of people like to meditate. I am not one of them, unless it's an active meditation. I can sit and be quiet, but I don't really meditate as people think of it. And I think journaling always helps, just to be able to express the emotion and let it move through your body without trying to control. I think that's the biggest thing, is we try to control everything. And let's face it, we're living in a world of chaos, and it's changing so quickly now, as always. And it's very, very important to understand these emotions are what they are. They really don't have any meaning other than the meaning that you place on it. So place a positive meaning on everything. Oh, this is great. I'm really lonely. I'm really sad. Wow, I can have all those feelings, and I can go do something with them. It doesn't have to be like one or the other. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't meditate either. I mean, my meditation is stroking my kitties. I mean, that's my meditation.
Right. And that's the purr of the cat can send you into a deep meditation, right? I love the purr of the cat.
Yeah. And, of course, a lot of the people that communicate with me are not working in. They're people who have maybe lost their spouse, or they don't, they're living alone. But I'm living alone too. I've lost a spouse, and I'm living alone except for my kitties. And every night at 7:30, 8 o'clock, depending on when I finish, because usually I'm working until 8, I go out on my balcony. There's a dog park across the street, and I take my binoculars and I watch the dogs play because I get such a kick out of it. But I can tell you that there are people who are asking, what do I do? They are so lonely. My advice in terms of this, and in terms of, mindset, is call friends, call people you haven't talked to in 6 months or even a week. I'm still in contact with people from kindergarten, believe it or not. And
wow.
Yeah, I have a friend who's lives in my hometown. and I call her. She's my friend since kindergarten, and she's not in the best place. She's very, very upset. You know, she's living in an assisted living facility and very lonely. And I mean, she has kids, but of course, at this point, nobody's seeing anybody. So it's just, I think it's a state of mind. And that's one of the things you talk about. You talk about these 4 renegade archetypes and how you can identify the right one. And I took your little test, and I'm, as I said, a disruptor, which means that you know, I don't take things lightly. So why don't you tell our listening audience about these archetypes?
Well, I've broken them down. I mean, you know, historically we follow a lot of Carl Jung in the psychology of personality styles, right? But I've broken mine down into 4: the nurturer, the disruptor, the innovator, and the geek. Just to simplify for people, you know, branding is like this abstract concept. It's like calculus or something. Nobody really quite understands what it is, even though it's based on a science and also based on art. People don't really get it. So, you know, I'm always trying to find ways to creatively allow people to just instantly tap into a direction of their personality style.
So the geek we know is someone who is probably analytical and very left-brained and detail-oriented. Yeah. And the nurturer, huh? The nurturer is someone we all need in our life, and we need them in our business because they're the ones that keep us going. They're the ones that do everything we're supposed to. Well, we need to get done, right? And then, of course, the innovator is the one who comes up with the ideas. They don't necessarily follow through on anything, I assume, but they have
the team. Yeah. They have other people making their ideas come to life, right?
Exactly.
Kind of like the Walt Disney.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's me, the disruptor. And what do I do, Ann? What do I do?
You and I are the same. I'm the disruptor as well. So I get our, you know, soul sister bond. So the essence of the disruptor is irreverent, fun, sassy. They're really interested in freedom as the maximum expression, spontaneity, image, action, and excitement. So they're really your action takers. They also have teams. Obviously, everyone needs one to support them in their endeavors. But they're more apt to be the first one to step out and say, yeah, I'll do it. You know, or, you know, people believe things are difficult, right? So a disruptor would say, well, what if it's easy?
Exactly.
They would just present the point of view that is the opposite of the status quo. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's for sure me. That's for sure me. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I want to ask you something. You know, you're an award-winning graphic designer for Vogue. You've got your reputation as a brand builder. So what has been the biggest challenge in building your business? Because, I mean, I would think, and so from the outside, would everyone else think you've got everything going for you?
Don't you love how
that's the laugh I like to hear. Yeah, right. You and everybody else, right? Yeah, everything is easy.
Yeah. I think, you know, again, your belief system, my belief systems have affected everything in my life, everything. So I think, you know, I call it iterate to awesome. So no matter where you are, you can move the needle 1 or 2 steps. So if you're lonely, choose to do something that is nice for yourself, whatever that is. Doesn't have to be big. Could be, you know, go in your garden. Like you were saying, you're watching the dogs in the dog park, right? Enjoy something or do something for someone else. Like pick up the phone and call someone else. We're all lonely right now. But I think the biggest thing is really, I used to say all the time, and I must be getting better at it because it's a practice. But whenever something would go wrong in my business, you know, which happens 80% of the time, fortunately, I win 20%.
Yeah, there's that 80-20 rule again. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's all I need to be really successful. But I think an understanding that the failures, you're always failing forward, never back, failing forward. And even if I went bankrupt, I would know exactly how to build a business from what I've done. So it's you could drop me anywhere and I'm going to make money. And I think that becomes really important for people to understand as they're staying at home. Hey, great opportunity to enjoy your family, great opportunity to enjoy your life, great vacation. As Americans, we work 24/7, 365 pretty much, and we get 2 weeks off. Well, we've gotten a couple of months now.
It's
Maybe
true.
you can't go anywhere, but you can be inventive and playful. Like you were saying, allow yourself to enjoy the dogs running. I watch the hummingbirds in my backyard, and just little things. My take on it is the biggest challenge has always been organization. I'll say for myself, being a disruptor, right? I need geeks around me that really button things up. But I think it's funny. I have a mentor who said, well, you wouldn't keep saying you needed to get organized if you weren't already organized. And I just love how you can frame anything into a positive.
Well, it's interesting.
Because the mind is not going to do that.
The thing is that for people who, don't have a business to think about, and even if you do, this is a great time. You could learn a new language. You can learn a new skill. You can develop a new hobby. You can, there's just so many things you can do. Read the books that you've been meaning to read that you never had time for. Mm-hmm. But instead, many people, and I understand where they're coming from, worry. They just worry about everything. Yeah. But you can't change it. So stop worrying about it. That's the point of I think the studies say 1% of everything you worry about comes true. There's nothing you can do about what's going on. I mean, if you're in business, you have a business, then you certainly can think of some ways you might be able to change it. Just like we have all become virtual presenters. We have all become virtual learners. We are all being Zoomed to death. We are, all of these things. Yeah. In fact, I'm busier now than I ever was because I'm bound to this computer from 10:30 in the morning till 8 at night. So it's a different life, but it's a life. And if you aren't in business, you can FaceTime with relatives or kids or friends. You can keep in contact by telephone if that's your only means. And there's ways to keep all of this active. So, what would you say are the biggest roadblocks that most women entrepreneurs face? Because certainly men are affected by this as well, but women entrepreneurs are what we're all about. So what are some of the roadblocks that they face?
I think one of the biggest thing right now, right? Women are so, they love to be in community. They love to be in a tribe with each other. So that's always challenging. Me and a couple of friends right now, we've pretty much been isolating now for 2-3 months. So we get together, because we feel safe with each other, right? And I think people are forming these little pods to really help themselves in your, as a human being, you need connection with people. You need touch. You need all these things in order to actually keep yourself from diving into the darkness, if you will, over what's happening. I think your point of, this is what's happening. And so embrace what's going on is really important, instead of like, oh, I can't wait for it to go back to the way it was. It's probably not going back the way it was. This is a transformational time. So what's happening for people is, what I call perturbation. I think it was Buckminster Fuller talked about perturbation. You have to have pressure for something to grow. So it's really a growth time for everyone to really look at what matters to them, how they want to operate under this kind of stress. Do you want to be angry all the time and frustrated? Do you want to be loving and gracious? You choose. You choose. So I think for women, one of the biggest struggles is in business is wanting to be liked, wanting to be part of the group. I call it, it's smart to fit in, but it's brilliant to stand out. But people don't really, there's a part of us as human beings that we want to fit in. So, and we want people to like us. And for me, it's like as you grow in your business, you start to realize having people like you, that's great, but it doesn't pay the bills.
Well, you're right. You're right. And the thing that that's one of the reasons I started the SOB virtual club, because I felt there were women 50 plus, and it is for women 50 plus, who are just feeling alone and don't have anybody to communicate with. And so I wanted them to have a community. It's free. I mean, there's no charge for it. And I've got almost 300 people in there now. And of course, I'd like to grow it to about 1,000. But the whole point is that we talk every day. And that's the whole thing. And some of the people now are posting funny doings and sayings and so forth. In fact, one yesterday was so hysterical. She posted a baggie of snacks that she had put together. And she said, I have these all over the floor just in case I fall and I can't get up. And I thought, that's one way of looking at it, but it's so true. We do like to be in a group, and we do like to, but the most important thing, and I hope this is happening now, it didn't happen years ago. When I was teaching, oh gosh, a long time ago, maybe 40 years ago, when I was doing seminars for women, women did not want to work for women. They wanted to work for a male boss, and women sabotaged other women. I think this is changing now, hopefully, and we need women supporting women. We need women who, patronize women's businesses. We need women who will promote other women. So, the biggest roadblocks, I think, for women really is belief in themselves. Because, as I mentioned yesterday to someone, if there's a job posting and there's 5 requirements and a guy has one of them, he'll apply. Whereas a woman, if she's got 3 out of the 5, will say, well, I don't have the other 2, so why bother? But men will go for it no matter what. And women will say, well, I don't know. I really don't have a chance. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. So
I think it's easy for women. They've been trained a certain way, particularly in mindset. So it's exactly what you're saying, Gayle. It's a value. It's the fact that men have been trained differently, and there's still some residue of that, but we're seeing a lot of women-owned businesses, women millionaires, women making strides in the arena, certainly of entrepreneurship. And I think that it's true. And this happens all the time when I'm working with my clients. I'm like, well, you're a genius. And they'll just go, what? No, I'm not. I'll be, yeah, well, you are. You have genius qualities. You have certain things that you're very, very good at. And usually you don't charge enough money for it.
Yeah, that's another thing. Right, yeah. Women do not ask for the same kind of dollars as men do. So there's a big gap there. We're getting ready to take our break. We've got a couple minutes left, but I just, I think it's really important for people to pay attention to what you're saying, Ann. I think that it's really important for women to look out for themselves first. You have to look out for you first, because if you aren't on 2 stable feet, you're not any good to anybody else. And yes, you have double duties, triple duties, because most women take over at home when they get home, and that's where I was really fortunate. My husband was not only an equal partner in home life, but he really took over most of the duties, which was something I didn't like to do. So he did. And he loved it. Right? He loved being with the kids, and he loved being home. He loved all those things. And I thought, yay. But, I do think that women need to take more control of their own lives. And many of the women now who are finding themselves on their own because their either husbands have either passed away or they're divorced. And I found out that there's more divorces now over 50 than under 50, which I was surprised about. And I guess they're chalking that up to longevity and the fact that people are living longer, so they're together longer, and they have more time to find out the things they don't like about each other. I don't know. But anyway, let's leave it. Yeah, let's leave it on that note. We'll be back in just a minute, folks. We're taking our break, and we'll come back with part 2 with Ann Bennett in just a few minutes.
Hi, this is Dr. Gayle, and I wanted you to know I have a whole bunch of other things to offer you. If you go to spunkyoldbroad.com, you will see an array of SOB stuff for sale and all our latest products and additions. If you're interested in getting on TV, I have a brand new course, Get on TV. And if you want to start your own business, you'll want my SOB Guide to Business Success. I know you'll love them all. I guarantee it.